Regular session to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Romanek.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Here.
Commissioner Watson.
Here.
Commissioner Ranello.
Present.
Do we have a pastor?
I don't think so. I didn't get a
No?
notice.
Okay.
so no.
May we please all stand to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975. Was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, we had two. So we had the addition of resolution item number 13, authorizing the city to enter into a contract purchase order with Raritan Group Incorporated, and also the addition of resolution item number 14 to provide notice of a non-renewal of the Millville Municipal Airport ground lease.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any presentations?
No, Mayor.
Make a motion, we pay the bills. Second motion.
I have a motion second to pay the bills. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Yes.
Commissioner Watson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello.
Yes.
Mayor Romanek.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Make a motion to approve and dispense with the reading of the following minutes and proceed with the regular order of business. September 17th, 2024 work session, September 17th, 2024 regular meeting, September 17th, 2024 special session for demolition hearing.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve and dispense of the minutes. Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Abstain.
Commissioner Watson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello.
Yes.
Mayor Romanek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment on agenda items only. We have now reached the public comment portion. Please come to the podium, state your name, address, and address your comments on agenda items only. Please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, Patricia Kears, 409 Peach Drive. I have a question on resolution number 3 for Premier Orthopedics. Was this for 2023 services? It looked like.
I think we amended that. We extended it in 24, so if we
So it
extended
was
it
for
in
last year?
24.
Sure. That was the
I'm
amendment.
trying to think, remember if we extended that contract into 24.
They did get an additional contract for this year, but I believe it said these were for services provided in 2023.
Depends on the date.
Give me a second.
Says it was a.
Let me see what the thing says.
I just gotta put all this stuff on you.
This thing.
Okay. Next one. Yeah, here we go.
Got it?
Yeah, so that page is this is gonna go.
Do you have the amendment?
Yeah, right here. Yep. The amendment to increase such to now for final 22 first received. Yeah.
Yeah, it is for 2023.
For 2023. Is there some reason it's taken 10 months to get the bill? And is this money taken out of this year's budget, or is it taken out of
Will be taken out of this year's.
last year's budget from the surplus?
It would be taken out of this year's budget from where I don't, the account is on the certification of funds, so whatever it says there, it should have an account number, I believe, that you have the account number with the certification of funds.
Yeah.
Where exactly that falls, I don't know which account that falls under, off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know.
Treasury, permits, inspections, police, fire, streets and roads, parks and playgrounds and courts.
So it's coming from everywhere because it applies to every
Yeah.
department.
Right, but I'm just curious as to why it took 10 months. I just,
Could have been a late bill, it could have been something somebody missed somewhere.
and then my next question is on resolution number 5, for purchases of vehicles. I guess they're for the police department,
No, they're for the construction department.
they're for the construction department.
Correct.
Okay.
If I can add, Mrs. Kears, they're for the construction department, just like now the construction department has brand-new vehicles sitting out there.
Yes,
They're coming to us. The vehicles we now have, they're coming to the police department.
The old
From-
vehicles,
The turn of the year.
old
from
we
the
now
ones
have.
that we purchased last
Last year.
September?
Yes. And this is going to be the same thing. As the year runs through, these vehicles that we're purchasing now will become the police departments. We have funding in the construction department. So they use them for a year and we get them.
They're not part of the police budget.
They are not part of the police budget, no.
Okay, why
Same
is,
with the ones we have now,
I'll
we're not
I'll
out.
explain
But why
that to
is
you.
that?
I'll
Yeah.
explain that to you. So the construction department has a budget. The money they get for construction has to be spent in the construction department for permits. So that way they get new cars every year. And at the end of that time, they can get rid of the old cars. And the old cars, now we're police vehicles so that we can give them to the police department and avoid the cost of bonding for 3 or 4 vehicles. That's why we're doing it.
okay, so, the magic trick, okay. My next question is on resolution number 6 for the electrical repairs. Is this part of the expansion of the sewer and the sewer department? Is this part of that expansion? Or whatever it is we're doing, clarifiers?
No.
No.
Okay, so it's separate. What exactly is the electric? What exactly is this?
Yes.
Yeah, I can, so, at City Park, the main basketball courts, a lot of lights don't work.
We have 9 out right now, Mrs. Kears.
We can handle in-house certain electrical capabilities. At this point, we need a true contract electrician to handle those specific electrical needs.
Okay. So the buildings and grounds, it's mostly the grounds? I see there's 3 of them, so there's 3
Correct.
sites? Okay.
I'm sure he'll be a electrical contractor through, yes, as it's stated, sewer, water, utility, and public properties.
Okay. And that's all I'll bother you for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kears. Seeing no one else, I will close the public comment on agenda items only. Petitions and letters.
Okay, I just need a motion to receive and file a letter received from Laurel Lake Property Owners Association showing opposition to the potential designation of Block 141, Lot 1 as an area in need of redevelopment.
Make a motion?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on petitions and letters, item number 1. Any comments? Excuse me. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Reports of commissioners. Commissioner Hewitt.
Food giveaway, might be jumping on Commissioner Ranello's
No, absolutely.
toes, but I'll be out there along with a couple of our police. We're always there as community policing this Friday. Starts at 10, and that's about it.
Thank you. Commissioner Watson.
I got the report from the Streets and Roads Department for September. 47 tires were collected, 13 appliances were collected, 258 electronic waste was received, 4,375 bags of loose leaves and grass clippings were received, 252 street sweeping tickets were written, 231 tons of loose brush was collected. Catch basin repair on 2415 Shelburne Avenue road was complete. Catch basin repair on Eddie Drive was complete. Last year, the loose leaves have been screened and stockpiled for fresh compost. Streets and roads should have been done brush collection for 2024 by the end of the week. Residents can start placing loose leaves out to the curb the last 2 weeks of this month. Loose leaves collections begin on November 1st. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please contact Streets and Roads Department, 856-825-7000. extension 7388. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Watson. Commissioner Rinella.
Yes, we had a busy weekend in Millville. On Saturday, the Millville Public Library had its ribbon cutting ceremony, and that was really well attended by the public, as well as Mayor Romanek and I. Our county commissioners, assemblymen, and Senator Testa were there. I believe approximately 250 to 300 people were in attendance. Great turnout. After the ribbon cutting, we held the annual baby show in Corson Park. We had 58 contestants, and we want to congratulate all the winners and recognize our new Little Miss Millville 2024 and new Mr. Millville 2024, Milani Carson and Liam Clark. Also want to thank Wade Loatman of Bully Pest Management and Miss Tri-City 2024, Lexi Elton, for judging the baby show alongside me. Regarding department updates, we're currently working on our last cut of city-owned properties. Want to give a big shout out and thanks to the Parks Department for keeping up with the grass cutting all year long. Some updates on activities and events. Holly City Walking Club started back up tonight. It'll take place every Tuesday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., unless otherwise noted. The walking will take place at Lakeside Middle School. Please enter the front of the school. And please remember, if school is closed, there will be no walking. This Saturday, October 5th at 11 a.m., we're going to have an official ribbon cutting for the newly painted basketball courts at Waltman Park. If you haven't seen them already, this is the time to see them. They're pretty amazing. Rare Causes put a lot of work into this. We're excited about this project, and we can't wait to celebrate with everybody. It's October 1st. It wouldn't be October without Halloween decorations. We're accepting registrations for our annual Halloween decorating contest. So if you'd like to register your home or business, please email recreation@millvillenj.gov. And if you have any questions about any of these events, please contact the Millville Recreation Department, 856-825-7000, extension 7394. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Rinella. Vice Mayor Sui.
Yes, first of all, a couple weeks ago, I had the police respond to my house. I'll get into specifics with that later when we talk about the non-camping ordinance. But I want to thank all those that were involved. They did a great job. And if you're ever going to have your firearm out and find it necessary to call the police, make sure that you tell dispatch.
Yeah.
And I'll explain all that later. Secondly, Nav Avenue. Received word from the county 2 weeks ago that they hadn't picked an engineer yet for design. They still haven't picked an engineer yet. I'd be anxious to hear from other candidates for those offices. We heard one come in here and speak on to where they are with the Nab Avenue expansion, and perhaps if they won, they could speed things up. So I'll be reaching out to them later, and perhaps they can come to the next meeting and let us know. I mean, that would only be fair. The one guy running came here and told us, but nothing's moving at a very fast pace, and it needs to speed up. Other than that, we opened the bids today for the wastewater treatment upgrades to the clarifier. The numbers are really good. Once they verify everything, I'll have those numbers for you at the next meeting. It's pretty good news all the way around. And with that, progress.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Before I forget, piggybacking off of what Commissioner Rinella says, Halloween, to the public that has already started decorating, thank you. I like seeing them during the day. I do not like scary movies at all, but I like seeing all the houses decorate, especially the one house, I believe, right on East Pine Street. I saw them decorating. They always do a fantastic job on East Pine Street. I have to pull up the map. Regarding to fifth floor, it is a reminder that we are in October, which serves as a heat reminder for our landlords. From October 1st to May 15th, rental units need to have heat in good working order for our occupied units. I'm sure all the landlords, you know of all these rules about being a landlord to your constituents. Events that has happened in the past 2 weeks. I attended the Cut International Film Festival that the city of Millville proudly supports here at our Millville Levoy. Bill Horn and his team does an excellent job with promoting this. There's over 31 countries that submitted films, short films. It's a reminder that this event is free to the public. Every year I hear that the public never knows about it. We don't push it out enough. I find that hard to believe, but this is where I hear all the information all the time. It is truly a wonderful event to go to. This is now the second year, I think. Don't quote me. Second year we've done this, and it's growing every year. So I hope to see more of the public out there next year. It's a truly unique and wonderful experience that the city of Millville, with the Cut International Film Festival, has to go on. Speaking about elections, I supported recently Mayor of Vineland, Anthony Finucci. Millville and Vineland have a good working relationship between myself and the mayor of Vineland, and I look forward to it continuing in the future. I would like to congratulate Miss Holly City, Victoria Siplensky. She has a very difficult name to pronounce, but I was fortunate enough and honored to be a judge for this year's Miss Holly City. I was one of 6 judges. We had a broader range of judges, from local Millville residents to as well as Vineland judges, and it was very enlightening, very different to be on the judging side. I remember being as a high school student and going to this. It's now a $10 donation to be audience member for Miss Holly City. Just goes to support project graduations and so on for the seniors. It was a good attendance from that night. I was just as shocked, as being a judge. I was shocked for top 5 who was top 5, and I was shocked of who became Miss Holly City. She was my top 3, but I was not. If I was a betting man, I was not betting on her. So congratulations. It's a very unique and interesting process. Congratulations to all the participants that did compete in Miss Holly City. It was wonderful to hear all your interviews during that Thursday night. Ordinances in the second reading.
Okay, so there's just one, which is an ordinance amending Millville Code Chapter 52, Police Regulations, so as to enact new Article 10, prohibited camping.
Make motion?
Second motion.
Pick
Vice
your
Mayor on that.
either
I got
way.
Vice Mayor on that one. I think he's closer.
Did most of the work on this one.
We have a motion and a second on ordinances in the second reading. There's a public hearing regarding this. I will now open the public hearing on ordinance. In the second reading, item number 1. Please come to the podium, state your name, address, and concerns about this ordinance. Seeing no one, I will close public hearing. I will open public
I
hearing.
was gonna wait. Oops. Now I did it.
Help's coming.
I don't think this microphone fits that hole. Anyway,
Go ahead. Make sure it's on, Joanna.
okay, we're good.
Fix that, would you?
My name's Tom McGinty, and I took the liberty of running around the city and looking into some of the homeless situation. I'm going to kind of include vagrants with homeless, because the homeless in some cases don't get a fair shake. But be that as it may, I went and took pictures of all the sites around Millville that homeless and vagrants are congregating in, and it's deplorable. I've heard a lot of complaints from citizens, business owners. I've been around businesses in Millville. I try to shop at Millville places. I try to go to Millville different, events. I probably have been around every square inch of Millville at one point or another, so I get to see a lot of stuff here and there. And there's a lot of pictures. If you go on Facebook, it's thomasmcgintyphoto.com on Facebook. And there's all the pictures are there. They won't be up long because there was some outcry about me putting pictures up of, the homeless camps and so forth and so on. But my name's Tom McGinty. I hope I'm speaking on the minds of many Millvillians, and I put a lot of time and energy in the last month since I found out about the drafting of this ordinance So if it takes me a little longer to get the point across, please have a little latitude. I did my homework to the best of my ability in a short time. Some statements aren't in line with my opinions, and in compiling this presentation, I can only rely on what others are telling me and information that's truthful and accurate. So, in case you don't know, in June, the Supreme Court ruled that people without homes can be arrested, fined for sleeping in public spaces, overturning a lower court ruling in Oregon which stated that the penalization of homeless on public property was unconstitutional. Many locations suffering from homeless problems and illegal alien problems where they arrive with nowhere to live is an issue. Oregon's huge homeless population was also becoming a health and sanitation problem. Conditions in Millville are no different. Similarly, Millville City had to remove a fountain and some other, I'll just say, secondary use type of things because people were bathing in there, living in there. People were living in a dumpster behind a local restaurant, as well as many other things that were getting easily repurposed. Some people don't see homelessness as a problem from their standpoint. Young who have other priorities, or they're unemployable for a whole bunch of reasons, like the adventure of living like a gypsy or a nomad, and it often goes hand in hand with drug use and other factors that I'll mention. The counterculture of the 60s, sex, drugs, rock and roll mentality of their parents may play a part in the shaping of the mindset of the homeless and vagrant individuals in today's society. They don't want to get off the streets. There isn't a lot a municipality can do unless they make the conditions on their streets through law enforcement unpleasant to these individuals. Drug use, I don't have to tell you, but addiction, crime, homelessness all go hand in hand. Tragically, people are urged by their inner need to feed their addiction rather than to spend money that they get through what employment they can find, panhandling, dealing, and muling drugs for dealers or crime. Alcoholism, same thing. It's a struggle. Some people can't drive because they've had DUIs. Some people won't hire them because they had DUIs where they're unreliable to come to work, in a nutshell. Some people are, on the street and they get inebriated so bad or have fallout that they wind up getting picked up by our emergency services and so forth. Sometimes when it's cold, the same thing. They'll commit a crime or do whatever to get indoors as a means to get out of foul weather, extreme temperatures, and it's day in and day out. Same people, it's recurrent. Depression. Some people have lost the want to strive to thrive, and their initiative is gone. So living indoors is no longer a priority, and they find themselves outdoors camping or just sleeping on a blanket somewhere. Psychosis. This is the sad part. There are many, many people with serious health issues. The deinstitutional, you know what I'm saying? They did away with people going into mental health institutes and so forth. They wound up in prisons. Now they're cut out of the prisons because we're trying to empty our prisons, apparently. They go to halfway houses, they can walk away, they do whatever. The concept of, putting the mental ill into the community was sound in theory, but it only works halfway. The people have to want to be a part of the community and a part of society. People with mental illness face a lack of facilities, administrative assistance to get them in a favorable situation. felons and those prone to violence can't be placed in some of these group homes, so forth, and they get bounced out. And until they commit a crime, they're on the streets. A variety of housing challenges also, unaffordable housing, scarcity of services and support. Communities are frequently unreceptive to the idea of housing people with mental illness and so forth in their neighborhoods. The problem lies where the people who have serious behavioral problems, again, wind up on the street. There's been a large increase in the homeless population in the nation in the past 4 years. This change is also much related to the pandemic. People moved out of shelters, where shelters did not accept guests because you couldn't have crowding. People came out on the streets in tents. Now they've been there for more than 2 years, and there's no end in sight to that. The situation is episodic, and the tide rises and falls with surges in COVID and other tenacious viruses that have hit the forefront. Those living on public lands often face theft, assault, at risk of being hit by passing vehicles or attacked by animals. Encampments have led to fires, disease, environmental hazards, and a high number of people overdosing on drugs and dying on streets and public property. It's happened. So the harsh reality is you can't have a cure for the problem until you identify and treat the symptoms. Currently, Millville has few alternatives for the homeless and vagrants to go and sleep and take up residence during temperate weather and what have you. Churches provide food, tents, and other things that are donated. They do a great job with Code Blue, but that doesn't open till the weather goes to freezing. It's a double-handed thing, and I'll get to that in a minute. Advocates for people in homeless situations, ask for or clamor for the necessary funding to get the homeless off the street. And strict enforcement of the laws is frowned upon by some people. And when the ordinance is finally passed and in effect, which I agree with,
Mr.
there's
McGinty,
going to
please
be...
get to your point. You've had an acceptable amount of time.
Okay. All right. Millville's struggling monetarily, and some areas are good, but a lot of the things are underfunded. So when these people are picked up, you're going to need to have something to do with them. And I've talked to police, I've talked to everybody. They're going to wind up going through the court system. They're not going to pay their fines. They're not going to come back to court and so forth. It's going to cripple the court. So, in a nutshell, because I have another 2 pages, unless there's a plan to do this and get them off the streets and do it in an efficient manner with something to do with them, it's pointless to go throughout the city and chase them around because they're going to wind up on public property or private property, sleeping in people's chair in their house, coming through the window, in cars. Vineland has had a host of people breaking into cars and found sleeping there in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. McGinty.
You're welcome. If you want to read what I put, the rest of, and some of the ideas that I have found by other people, I will post this on Facebook.
Mary Messick here of Millville. I agree, we do have a problem, but yet the biggest problem is, and I'm speaking from past experience dealing with billing for several agencies, the biggest problem is, yes, we do have people that are homeless, that choose to be homeless. Yet we have others that do want the help. But unfortunately, if, for example, if you have a drug addiction, you have Maryville which does outpatient as well as inpatient. If there's not enough beds to house that person, they can't take them. Plus, on top of that, if they're intoxicated or if they're high, the agencies that deal with this type of addiction can't handle them. They're not allowed to handle them. For some odd reason, our laws don't permit that. So that's part of the problem that keeps them out there. Speaking as a previous volunteer for Code Blue, I know for a fact Code Blue does periodically recording, record keeping of who's chronically homeless. M25 started a program called Housing First. They took them off the street who have been chronically homeless for several years, placed them in a home, and then got them whatever other help that they need. Trinity First is only one of a few places that the homeless can go to get a meal, even get a shower. There's a pamphlet that's stapled on the table over there as you first walk in that gives a complete guideline of resources that these people can utilize. And yes, some family members have given up on them. But the bottom line is, you can't sit there and depend strictly on your municipality to do something. We have to find a way of getting the lawmakers that are sitting up there in Trenton and in the White House to get off their duff and make it possible for them to sit there and be taken in, especially if they're the ones that have cried out, I want help, I want help. And I'm speaking as a sister of a brother who was addicted to painkillers, who, through help of a friend of mine, managed to get him the treatment he needed, and he's doing fine now. But he was to the point where I had to turn my back on my own brother and tell him, sorry, you can't live here. And I thank you for your time.
Greg Keers, 409 Peach Drive. I just wanted to bring this up as a point of order because it's happened multiple times. You guys have a rule about 5 minutes, and you need to keep to it. You need to keep it consistent because it's happened more than 5 times now in the last like 4 months worth of meetings. So you guys got to be better with this because you got to follow your own rules and be a real government. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Jack Fossbender. I'm the assistant pastor at First United Methodist Church. Good evening, Mayor and councilmen and ladies. I oversee the Trinity First Hope Center, which I think a lot of you may be aware of that. We deal a lot with the homeless, and there is a real problem in the city with that, and I don't know whose responsibility it needs to be. We deal right now, we have a woman probably in her mid-60s, homeless. She spends her nights in the foyer of the police station. She hides her belongings in trees, hoping nobody takes them. We say, hey, sign up for Millville housing. I call. What number is she? 295. How soon could she possibly get housing? 2 years. And that's more than just one person that we deal with that we come. We have a couple that are living on a bench somewhere or at a different place every night. He just got a job last Monday at TFAL. He's doing well. We let him to come into the Hope Center and shower several times a week so he doesn't smell when he goes to work. We do their laundry so he goes into work and presentable. I don't know what we're going to do about housing for them. You know, people go, hey, Pastor Jack, he'll get you housing, and they come to me, and I say, I can't do anything for you. if they can't sleep on the benches and they can't sleep in the park, they're just gonna move. They're just gonna move. And then they're gonna be maybe someplace else that is not as acceptable. And I think many of you remember there was a couple that was living in the alcove of that one store, night after night till they boarded it up. You know, there is options. Places down in Maryland, they put in little houses. I don't know who runs it. I don't know what that looks like. I haven't had the chance to investigate into that, the cost of that. We have that place, what is it, on Buck Street, the old apartment building complex that's been torn down, and we have Oak Day. That may be a good location to consider doing that. Or, you know, I don't know. I just feel that if we ended up getting 50 houses, we'd still have 50 more people that needed housing. So, just trying to give you, you know, my professional ideas and situations that I deal with every day. So I thank you for your time, and if anybody would like to meet with me and come over and we can sit down with you at the Hope Center and introduce you to some of the people and kind of explain to you the situations that they're going through. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Cindy Cook. I've been working with the homeless since the inception of Code Blue in January of 2015. First of all, during COVID, our county put our homeless up at hotels. That was paid for, okay? They didn't have to be on the street. Right now, if a homeless person gets COVID, the hospital lets us know. They are taken to a hotel. We do provide meals for them through a couple different agencies. I myself take meals to people, homeless people with COVID. Okay, with pastor's assistance, I had some businesses ask for flyers. These are now available. I just gave Jeannie some. On it, it has all the resource information, the addresses, where to go to get a meal, what times, where to get a shower, where to get your laundry done, and even a Bible study session. Okay? Next, I provided this every year. I am on the Homeless Trust Fund for Cumberland County. I represent the city of Millville. Every year we get the Human Resources Homeless and Service at Risk Guide. This is also for people that are at risk of becoming homeless. It has not only the Cumberland County information on it, but it has the state information, where to go to get assistance before you become a homeless. I don't know if you know, but first of all, to get into a room or an apartment, you need 3 times the monthly rental rate. 3 times. Now, I don't know how many of you would be able to qualify right now. If you had to pay $1,000 a month for an apartment, how many of you right now have $3,000 to put down? You know, not many people. Rooms cost $70 to $90 a week. We have had many homeless people that are homeless but are working. Many of them had joined the gyms, or now the church has the shower program. But I've had them where I've helped them get jobs. They were working, but they were underworked, so they could not afford, through no fault of their own. One gentleman, it was because his wife died of cancer, and he was faced with insurmountable medical bills, and then he lost his job. He always worked, but meanwhile, he lived in a tent. We got him a membership. He was able to then go take a shower so he didn't smell when he went to work. When we had Code Blue, he would come in and sleep inside. He would get a nice meal. We would wake him up so that he could go to work in the morning. Or if he was working the night shift, we let him come in late. Most of your panhandlers are not homeless. I look at the ones out on 55. I do not see not one homeless person standing there with a getting money off of 55. They are not homeless. Stop giving them money, because that encourages panhandling. If you want to help, get a Wawa coupon card so they can go get a sandwich or get them a meal. But do not give cash, because most of these people are not homeless. You will see they hold signs up. No, they are not homeless. If they were homeless, they would be at Code Blue in the winter, or we have Code Red in the summer. They are taken out of extreme heat. A lot of your homeless that you see multiple calls on. Okay, we had a homeless woman.
1 minute remaining, Mrs. Cook.
Okay, we had a homeless woman. She has since passed. Everybody kept calling the medical services on her. She wasn't always drunk. She was in liver failure. She had cirrhosis of the liver. She had extreme pain in her legs. Her legs would give out from underneath her. She would fall down. They would call the ambulance. We have a gentleman with pancreatic issues. He's in pain. A lot of times they self-medicate. So just because you see some of these people out there, don't assume they're all homeless. The group across from City Liquor, only a couple of them are homeless. The rest are there trying to get you to give them stuff, but they're not homeless. Thank you.
Patty Kears, 409 Peach Drive. I would just like to make one comment that I know something has to be done with the homeless. I worked for 36 years in social services. There are so many barriers that none of us here have any understanding of what people face. I understand something has to be done with the homeless. But enacting these fines is just going to give them one more barrier to being able to get a job or housing. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, I will close the public hearing. Comments of commissioners.
Oh, I have one. So I'm going to support this ordinance, and I'll get to why in a minute. There are problems with it, but I believe it's a first step. The homeless situation is it's a horrible thing. Many factors lead to it, but I'm going to share a story with you why I'm supporting this ordinance and why I personally believe it doesn't go far enough. The problem with this ordinance is it's going to cause people to move. So if we selectively enforce it, we will be forcing homeless out of certain areas and into other areas. If we enforce it on all public property, we're going to be forcing people, homeless, are probably going to go to private property, which is going to create a whole nother set of issues. Now, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that I thanked the police department. So I don't know if this guy was homeless or not, but he was apparently looking for a place to sleep. He came in at 3:30 in the morning through my dining room window. I, of course, got my weapon, told my wife to go upstairs, and called the police department. They responded greatly. They came, they got the guy, they locked him up, and there he remains till his arraignment on October 24th. My point being, this is going to result in a clash of cultures, because homelessness is a culture, like it or not. And those of us that have houses, that's another culture. So one of two things is bound to happen. Somebody's bound to get hurt. Had that guy not sat in a chair and went to sleep and went to go up the stairs where my wife was, somebody would be dead right now. And that's not a joke, people. Somebody would be dead right now. So we need to look a little further. Now, I read a lot of books. Nobody seems to have a solution. No city, with the exception of one, Miami, had a solution. And it wasn't very popular. And that was to ship them somewhere else. So I don't know, you know, and what worrisome is we have people that are giving bus passes to people to come here and take advantage of some of the programs we have. We don't have the resources to manage the people that are here. But if your parameter for success is how many homeless people you feed, then you would measure that, you would get as many as you could to feed. But it doesn't help everybody else. You know, doctors take the Hippocratic oath, right? First, do no harm. So when we all, you know, and I feel for the homeless, but when we offer them, the more services we offer them, word's going to get out. And that's especially going to be a problem with the tiny houses, I think, unfortunately. They're going to say, they have tiny houses there. I'm going to go there and get a tiny house. Just like you, Pastor, they say, you know, Pastor Jack can get me a house. Well, you can't. We have limited resources. We have a lot of homeless. Many of them aren't from Millville. They came from somewhere else. So I don't think this goes far enough. I think it's inevitably going to lead to a clash of cultures, and inevitably somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, there's no saying that nobody, you know, somebody's not going to get hurt now walking through the park with a bunch of homeless people getting there, high, drunk, whatever, and something desperate happens, and it'll be a horrible thing. So we need to get them the help that we can get them, and that ounce of prevention is worth a lot more than the cure, as far as what resources are available to people that aren't homeless yet, but may be in the future. But we have to be real careful about what services we offer and how we offer them, because we don't want to become a magnet for the homeless either. And like I said, this happened to me, it could happen to any one of you. And I just happened to be sleeping downstairs, and I thought it was the cats making noise. So had that guy went to go up the stairs or came towards me before the police got there, I would probably be the one sitting in jail for a couple days till it all got straightened out. So, you know, be real careful, but I am going to support this.
Just listening to everybody, I've spoken to numerous stakeholders in our community over the last month or so. And while not every homeless person has mental health issues or addiction issues, a large number of our homeless population require these services. We have to keep encouraging people to follow the path to a better quality of life. We rise by helping others. We have wonderful people in our community that are devoted to helping others get up, get to services that they obviously need, and get on the path to improving their lives. I want to continue working with groups and individuals in the community who have ideas and solutions that are beneficial to everyone. We have a compilation of resources through Cumberland County, and Cindy also mentioned that she has another booklet there. These resources are to help people improve their situations. I made sure that those resources in a booklet, there should be, maybe, well, we can make more copies, available to the public. I want to thank everybody for coming up here and voicing what they had to say on this ordinance. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Ordinances in the first reading.
Okay, is there ordinance amending Millville Code, Chapter 30, Land Use and Development Regulations to rezone Block 141, Lot 1 to farmland production as originally recommended by the 2017 Land Use Element.
I'm sorry.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
Thank you. Sorry, found that comical. Any comments? We have a motion and a second on ordinance in the first reading, item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2 is an ordinance authorizing the amendment to Motor Vehicle and Traffic Regulations, Municipal Code, Article 10, Schedule 21, to add parking reserved for handicapped persons at 309 East Oak Street.
Make a motion?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on item number 2. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 3 is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a utility easement agreement between the City of Millville and 416 15th Street South LLC for property identified as Block 489, Lot 4, and more commonly known as 416 South 15th Street.
Move the ordinance on first reading.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance in the first reading, item number 3. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Resolutions.
Okay, item 1 is a resolution appointing Frank Doherty as an alternate for a member of the Millville Zoning Board of Adjustment and expiring September 30th, 2026.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing adjustments to the tax and utilities record.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 2. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing First Amendment to 2023 professional services contract with Premier Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Associates of Southern New Jersey LLC for an additional amount of $2,573.25.
Make a motion, and with that, I have certification of funds from our CFO in the amount of $2,573.25 for a new not-to-exceed total of $32,573.25.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 3. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing water sewer termination on October 21st, 2024 due to failure to comply with the utility ordinance pursuant to Section 56-18 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing the award of a state contract with Gentilini Motors to purchase 2 2024 Tahoe 9C1 patrol vehicles, 1 2023 Ford Utility KAA all-wheel drive pursuit vehicle, and 1 2024 F-250 SRW XL four-wheel drive vehicle, and an amount not to exceed $212,619.53.
Move the motion, and with that, I have certification of funds in the amount of $212,619.53, signed by our Chief Financial Officer, Suzanne Quinones.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 5. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution awarding a contract through a fair and open process for the project entitled Electrical Repairs, Maintenance and Service Contract for Sewer Utility, Water Utility, and Public Properties to Northeast Electrical Services LLC, and an amount not to exceed $50,000 from October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2025.
Make a motion, and with that, I have certification of funds from our CFO, Susan Quinones, in the amount of $50,000.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 6. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution supporting the State House Commission pre-application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for Division of Parkland and Riverside Spring State Patriot Park, Block 123, Lot 1, associated with the New Jersey Department of Transportation's replacement and rehabilitation of the Route 49 bridge and relocation of existing bridge-mounted sanitary sewer main.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 7. Any comments?
This is all about moving a tree, actually.
Really?
Really.
Yeah.
We're moving the pipe, it's gonna go under the river. There's a tree there, so we had the option of either having the Department of Transportation plant 6 trees to replace the 1 tree, or they could pay the Department of
grant.
Environmental Protection
Yep.
to not plant the trees. A little
Yeah.
bit of red tape.
Yeah, yeah. Why we can't put it under the new bridge like the water main?
Well,
is
that's
under?
what we wanted, but they just said
Yeah.
no.
Welcome to the state of New Jersey. Wonderful. Well, progress. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution approving the insertion of an additional item of revenue in the calendar year 2024 municipal budget in the sum of $10,406.17 from the state of New Jersey in the form of the National Opioid Settlement Grant for Endo Public Opioid Trust Distributions, which is now available as revenue.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second on resolution item number 8. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We have a resolution approving the insertion of an additional item of revenue in the calendar year 2024 municipal budget in the sum of $4,930.27 from the state of New Jersey in the form of the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership, which is now available as revenue.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second on resolution item number 9. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 10 is a resolution rescinding resolution number 227-2024 and approving newly revised solid waste and recyclable rules and regulations.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution approving participation with the State of New Jersey Law and Public Safety Grant Program, Safe and Secure Communities Program, and administered by the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General, for the application for funding of $67,725 with a match of $438,513.73 for an approximate project total of $506,238.73 under Safe and Secure Grant number 25-0610 for the period of June 24th, 2025 through June 23rd, 2026.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second on resolution item number 11. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution approving subaward number 25-0610 to the City of Millville, the subrecipient for a Safe and Secure Communities Grant, in the amount of $67,725 with a required $438,513.73 in kind for a total of $506,238.73 for the period of June 24th, 2025 through June 23rd, 2026.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a resolution, we have a motion and second on resolution item number 12. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 13 is a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a contract purchase order with Raritan Group Incorporated for the parts needed for the 15th Street site reroute water main for an amount not to exceed $39,902.
Make a motion. With that, I do have certification of availability of funds in the amount of $39,902 signed by our Chief Financial Officer, Susan Quinones.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second on resolution item number 13. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And our last item, 14, is resolution to provide notice of non-renewal of Millville Municipal Airport ground lease.
Make the motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 14. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner, Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries. I thought you were going to speak. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I thought you were speaking as well, but new business.
Okay, I just need a motion to authorize the following special event on public lands application pending approvals, and that's the National Dual Sport Ride sponsored by Tri-County Sportsman MC Incorporated on Sunday, November 3rd, 2024, starting in Port Elizabeth from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So moved.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on new business item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
No.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is, I just need a motion to authorize the following special event on public lands applications pending approvals, and that's Autism Fundraiser sponsored by Patty Crockett with Faces for Autism on Saturday, November 9th, 2024 at the Old Warehouse Irish Pub, 123 North High Street from 4 to 11 p.m. And Arts Festival art demos and music sponsored by Riverfront Renaissance Center for the Arts on Saturday, October 26th, 2024 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on High Street.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on new business item number 2. Any comments? I wish Patty all the best of success for her continuing Faces for Autism events. She does a great job, and I look forward to that Arts Festival event, which is upcoming later this month. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone who would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name, and address your concerns. Please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
Get this set up for short people. William Jones. I live at 610 East Mulberry Street. Again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's great to see you again. As many of you know, my family and I are new to the area. In our very short time here, we've dealt with issues with gang violence and gun violence no less than 4 times already. This has been not only my next door neighbor, his back window getting shot out when he was only a block away from my house, the gun violence at the football field, the school shooting threats, and as well as a young man being shot to death about 3 blocks from my house, which resulted in a huge police search and helicopters all over the place. I believe I speak for everyone in this area when I say there is no cost too great for the safety of our community and the safety of our children. After speaking to with some officers in Millville and other people, I've found a lot of scary common ground shared by almost every single person. Our officers are spread thin and constantly expressing poor pay and even poor interactions with the public. I hear all too often about the great past and the history of this town, but mostly I'm hearing about how it's going down the drain. We have to change something, whether it be more funding for the officers or more officers. I've already got to talk to the school board about the lack of safety officers. There's only 1 officer for the entire school district. As a combat vet, I should not be afraid for the safety of my family, for my home, and my town. I express a lot of common ground with Commissioner Suey about, if someone comes into my house in the middle of the night, they're going to have to deal with what I got. But unfortunately, in the state of New Jersey, that does result in prison time, even though you might be correct in defending yourself. And I don't want to beat on a dead horse because we've heard in force about the homeless issue. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a secret that we have a homeless issue here. When I worked private security after my 7 years in the military in the city of Savannah, I dealt with homeless in more ways than you would ever know. And a lot of them do come in from the buses. They are being given tickets, just as Commissioner Suey hit on. They are given tickets and sent here because they feel that there's help here. But that's too often the case, not true. Thank you for your time. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. It's great seeing everybody here again.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Cindy Cook, Valley, Millville. As we all have become painfully aware this week with the hurricanes down south, September was, it's almost over, or it is over, the emergency month. You're supposed to prepare in this month. You can go to FEMA.gov and you can download on your phone the app that will give you warnings if there's imminent danger in your area. Okay, I encourage everybody to do that. Also, there is information on emergency supplies you should have on hand so that if something comes up. My husband and I used to always keep a certain amount of cash in our safe in small bills and rolled quarters. So if there was an emergency and you couldn't use your debit cards, you couldn't use your credit cards, you could grab them. You could still get gas. You could still get necessities by having cash. You'd go to the laundromat because you had quarters. They also suggest a thing most people don't think of is extra prescriptions. I have many family members down south right now. One friend has lost everything. His home was right on the water near Tampa. Not only did he lose everything, I mean, he lost his boat, he lost his dock, he lost his 3 cars, but luckily they were evacuated, so they were all safe. I really do suggest, especially if you travel, having that FEMA.gov link. It'll tell you if there's a tornado or something in your area. I want to thank Jeannie. She printed these up after I sent her the email with the at-risk guide. And guess what? The print's big enough I can read it without my glasses.
That was Joanna.
So really, really, this is great because most people don't realize once you get evicted, you're not eligible for any programs. So this will help you avoid getting evicted or a loved one from getting evicted. It's got the listings of where to go to get, if you don't have the money to pay your utilities, where to go for assistance, like Catholic Charities and all. It's got statewide agencies. As I mentioned before, working with Pastor Jack, he printed this up. If you have a business and you want to distribute some information to where your homeless can get assistance, this is fabulous. You can contact me or Pastor Jack. There's, Trinity has got the clothing closet. They've got computers to assist with job search, the ability to recover lost documents. Not for nothing, but a few years ago, we had a homeless gentleman. Some kids came up and stole his backpack. In that was his WD-14s. Not only was all of his IDs in there, but we had to help him get his DD-214 and everything. You know, they can't get jobs if they don't have birth certificates on hand. In their backpacks, the birth certificates normally get destroyed. I actually held on to a lot of these documents in my safe for some of these individuals. It costs money, but if you go to certain agencies, they can get these things, and I encourage to go ahead. If you need this, like I said, contact either myself or Pastor Jack, and we'll make sure you have a copy. Thank you. Oh, almost forgot. Commissioner Watson, I drive all over the city of Millville. I was halfway into an intersection on Vine Street the other day because a big bush was blocking a stop sign. Also, on Pine Street, you have some of them, and also some others. You've got the limbs are coming down off of trees blocking stop signs. You have this shrubbery in the way blocking stop signs. You have some of the cases, the stop signs are turned at an angle. They're over, you know, they're not straight up and down. And if you're not aware, you don't know there's a stop sign there. Thank you.
Good evening, Angeline Broomhall, Millville. I could be way wrong on this, so I generally don't like to speak unless I have the facts. But I think and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Mayor, so you mentioned something about the discussion with NABAD and when Director Cilio came here, and that you wanted to hear from one of the other candidates. Am I correct on that?
I think that would be fair. Mr. Cilio is up for re-election.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I understood that correctly. I don't believe that this is the place for politicking. It would be nice to hear other candidates' ideas. I completely agree with you on that. But that's where you rent space at, you know, the Legion, and you debate and things like that. This is not the place for that. You know, this is meetings, right? This is city government, and That's all. I don't think that this is the appropriate place for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brumall.
This is Doug Albrecht, Commissioner Albrecht. I want to make sure I heard this right, but I want to salute, if I heard it right, that Millville's decided to pursue the airport. Did I hear that correctly? I was looking through the agenda.
We voted to issue a notice of non-renewal for another 30-year term. Bear in mind, we're still 5 years away from the end date of the lease.
That's fine, but I just want to salute this commission because I think this is a pretty bold step. It was kind of real at the last minute, but I just want to say that this is really good, and I believe it. I just say that as long as I can do as a commissioner could help in pursuing whatever Millville decides how they're going to do this thing in the next 5 years. I hope we're partners in it. I hope that I think this is a good thing for Cumberland County, not just for the city of Millville, but the city of Millville will benefit. I really salute you guys for taking that. It's a little action now of 5 years of hard work trying to figure out how to get it done, and then it opens the whole doors for South Jersey at the same time, so thank you. All right, and one last, there is a new, I was on the radio with the emergency management, Cumberland County's instituted a program called RAVE, which allows select people to get messages that affect them directly from emergency management. You can sign it through the county's website, and they will purposely, any issue that affects you the most, they will put, when there's an emergency setting or something, they'll send that out to you so you get that information. We learned a lot of stuff on the radio last night. A lot of people had a lot of good comments, so hopefully we're going to implement them. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Doug Albrecht. In case you didn't catch, this is Commissioner Doug Albrecht of our Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. I appreciate those words, Doug. They do mean a lot. It is a benefit for the city of Millville and as well for Cumberland County, Resolution 14. Seeing no one else, I will close the public comment portion. Closing comments of commissioners. Commissioner Hewitt.
Thank you, everybody coming out. That's what we're here for, and see you all next meeting. Thank you.
Commissioner Watson.
I don't have anything at this time.
Commissioner Ranella.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out, voicing your concerns, expressing, especially on one particular ordinance, your desire to help. And I'm hoping to hear more solutions on how we could most help the people in our community. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Yes, unfortunately, I couldn't attend our last meeting, and I missed a very interesting meeting. So I'm going to present some facts here that many of you may not know. First, I'm going to address the contract negotiations. The contract committee originally contained 2 commissioners for all negotiations, 2 of my colleagues, not I. Last September, I realized that negotiations had not begun between the city and any of the collective bargaining units, the unions. So it simply appeared that neither the city nor the unions had expressed a desire to begin negotiations. So I took the initiative to get those negotiations started. Subsequently, the city's negotiating committees were changed around. Now I'm going to explain my responsibility as I believe it as the Director of Revenue Finance in those negotiations. As Director of Revenue and Finance, I have a responsibility to oversee the department to make sure the money exists to fund whatever the negotiating committees offer to the union. There can't be a suicide pact, as well as taking the union's desires into consideration. The vast amount of this work is done by our Chief Financial Officer. This includes evaluating what proposals are possible within state statutes in reference to property tax caps, the overall impact on the tax rate if applicable, and it's important to realize that what may not only be affordable in 1 year and possible may not be in subsequent years, as raises have cumulative effects. In other words, the cost is compounded. For example, if the cost for a raise of all the employees in the city, now this hypothetical number, is $100,000, then that year, that cost $100,000. And the cost of the raise in the second year is $125,000. Then the city needs the $100,000 plus the $125,000 for a total of $225,000 for year two, and so on and so on and so on. Now, whatever that agreement is, it must be sustainable by incoming revenue. We can't go into a deficit. We cannot deficit spend. There are two main ways to increase our revenue, and that is through increasing taxes and economic development to increase ratables. Simply increasing taxes does not offer a way to sustain pay increases to make this city compete with other cities in terms of wages alone, let alone other costs of the city. You know, and as a side note, I find that some of the folks that speak here about giving officers raises have spoken against pilot programs, have spoken against development in general, and against the high tax rate, and yet want our employees paid more. I want our employees paid more, but it has to be possible, it has to be feasible, and it has to be sustainable. So, a little news, you can have some of the above, so you can either have your employees paid more, but it has to coexist with the other stuff. Otherwise, it's not possible at all. Now, I know that one of my colleagues mentioned a 2-cent tax increase every year for public safety. Well, to be honest with you, that won't cover contractual raises for the police department, let alone everything else. So, additionally, one of my colleagues, stated that, seniors should apply for their rebate or whatever for property taxes so that it doesn't affect them. Well, that's great, except it shifts the burden because you know what? The people with families, the young people with families and children, they're going to have to pay it. They're not going to get it back. And that helps nobody. So, my primary focus for the last 3 years has been on economic development. And that is why it has been on economic development. A couple meetings from now, I don't know if it'll be the next one or the first one in November, you're going to see a presentation concerning a big project in Millville that will help immensely. So I look forward to that. Now, we're going to go into closed section at the next meeting to discuss the financial consequences of different proposals. I can't get into them exactly. And it's the commission, not me alone, the commission that will make a decision on what contract to award. And that will be done by public vote. I want the best employees for this city in every department. I want them compensated fairly. And other communities pay more than Millville does. This sometimes, not always, makes it attractive for some employees, including police officers, to leave for other departments or agencies. Additionally, police officers here gain an enormous amount of experience because of our crime in a very short time, which makes them a very valuable commodity because of that experience to other departments. So, we need to compete with other municipalities. Also in our contracts, we have, in our civil service contracts, we have what is known as steps. Some of you may be familiar with the civil service system, some of you may not be. So why our officers start at the minimum stated rate, which is currently the lowest paid officer is $47,813 per year. They receive annual pay raises on their anniversary date till they meet their max. And this goes for all city employees, but the rates aren't quite the same. So our highest paid officer right now is $97,280 per year, just to give you some idea where it was. And it's not enough to compete with other communities. Additionally, one thing we provide that some others don't is health benefits for 5 years after an officer retires. That comes at a substantial cost for a family. That's approximately $20,000 a year. Additionally, all employees, and we work with the unions to get what's known as the Benacard done. The Benacard, basically, the city absorbs the cost of the co-pays. So if you have health insurance through the city, you pay no co-pays. That's a pretty good deal. So we do what we can to attract and retain the best that we can get within our constraints, and we're working hard to expand those constraints so that there is more money to pay more employees, not only police, everybody. So to give you, and this information is operable. If you want to see what any public employee makes, all that's operable. So you can oper that if you like. And that may remove any vague descriptions of pay which have been offered by members of the public. To reiterate, we need to pay our employees competitively while taking care of our entire city and not bankrupting our city within the bounds of laws established by New Jersey as far as allowable tax increases and without financially destroying our residents. Next, I wish to correct a statement made by Mr. Carty. He was correct, and I'll paraphrase this, when he said that I was removed from my departments. That is correct. What he did not say was that there were some employees that made certain allegations against me. An investigation ensued. At the conclusion of that investigation, it was found that I had done nothing that was not permitted, and my powers were restored. Next, I do not control all the money in the city, nor do I control the entire agenda of a meeting. Any commissioner can have a resolution or ordinance placed on the meeting. All it takes is the courage and willingness to do so. And some have done so, to their credit. Most have done so at one time or another. But if anyone out there, any member of the public, any employee has any question about what I have said or what someone has told them I said, simply ask, and if you want, you can bring that person with you so they can verify it. I'm more than happy to answer. Sometimes I'm too blunt for my own good. Now, as commissioners, when we make decisions, we have to evaluate the opinions of not only the public, but our professional staff as well. You know, engineers, planners, lawyers, executive staff, folks that have been specifically trained and have vast experience in their areas of expertise. At the last meeting, one of our speakers offered her background, and we heard another that did not. Everyone is entitled to their opinion and has a right to express it at a public meeting. It's up to the governing body and the public to evaluate those comments. Now, we should take into account the opinions of the public based on their interest, experience, and backgrounds. So, I want to examine the background of another speaker so that you may give his opinion the proper weight. Now, this individual once occupied a public trust as a volunteer. That position was as a volunteer fireman. According to articles appearing in both the Daily Journal and the Atlantic City Press, he admitted to involvement in a September 28th arson of a vacant house, as well as admitting to committing several bus fires and setting a trash receptacle on fire. Others were charged with him with accounts of aggravated assault and conspiracy, aggravated arson and conspiracy. He subjected his community, his fellow firefighters to danger on purpose. Now, I don't know what caused people to do this, whether it's a chance to be a hero after initiating a problem or a craving for attention. At any rate, that individual is sitting in here, and his name is Tim Carty. Please evaluate any of his future comments accordingly. I'm providing a copy of the Daily Journal article to the clerk in case anyone wishes to open the article. You should evaluate all of our opinions based on our experience, our background, and what we have done in the past and will do in the future. That is the fair thing to do. And Mayor, I know you're fond of quotes, so I'm going to leave you with one. To lead, you must turn your back on those that follow. Progress.
Duly stated.
Would you pass that to the clerk, please?
We all know I don't have to literally beat a dead horse, but cancer sucks. A couple days ago, never got to meet her, but she worked for Millville Court, Millville Police Department. Her name is Amy Baker, and she lost her life to cancer. Any employee that comes through here, there always will be remembered. She leaves behind her husband and 2 sons. Her husband, Jason Baker, is a sergeant for the New Jersey State Police. I'm so sorry, Jason, for your loss. Motion to adjourn.
Make motion.
Second motion.
All in favor?
All right.